Alright, Chapter 6 Principles of Bulk Water Purification, Storage, and Distribution. When the well is dry, we know the worth of water. Benjamin Franklin, Poor Richard's Almanac, 1946. Introduction. Water is one of the largest, most important sustaining commodities. The water requirements rise above the individual small unit needs. They need to be handled with the bulk form. Bulk handling calls specialized equipment, product handling, safeguards, standard operating procedure. Provide most efficient and effective use of the water stocks and equipment. The water plan with the must provide with the surface of the Department of Defense Agency, the Commander at Combat, Commander of Water Assets, Policy, Responsibilities. Department of Defense Directive 4705.01E, Management of Land-Based Water Resource Support with the Contingency Operation Designated Secretary of the Army with the Department of Defense Executive Agent of Land-Based Water Resource. The responsibility applied with all aspects of land-based water support with the service that does during contingency operation, including water selection, pumping, purification, storage, distribution, cooling, consumption, water reuse, water source, intelligence, research and development, acquisition, water support equipment, water support operations, doctrine, human factor, requirement training, water support forest structures, ensure adequate support with the commander of their staff, should address planning of the tactical water support in all plan orders. Water is supplied either with a package or bulk product. A packaged product is manufactured, produced, and stored and transported, supplied within the container. Water in large quantity of the bulk quantity of planners must be alternative to the supply method for bulk water. Bulk package method requires extensive shipping the required materials handled. The equipment to move to provide less product volume when compared with the bulk operation. Planners should weigh the advantage and disadvantage weight of package and bulk water carefully to ensure the best method is chosen to support the contingency. 2. Tactical bulk water operations. Tactical bulk water support operations are implemented to purify water as close to the water user as possible. Methodology improve the detailed planning for the water with the point of selection, site, purification, storage, distribution of bulk water. Bulk water support responsibility. Bulk water support normally is a service responsibility. However, during the joint operation delegated to the GCC, subordinate of the Joint Force Command, may assign the water supply responsibility on the area based for the lead surface methodology. The dominant over most capable surface in the area may be tasked to provide water support. All forces operating in the area. The actual procedures used to provide bulk water support and service will depend on the condition of the operational area. The distribution in most situations, water distribution, weak link over the water support system, moving the water with the production storage site, either the equipment of manpower intensive. Joint forces must make efficient use of available the assets for the conducting water distribution operation, transport water from the trunk site with the using units involved with utilizing various means of the bottled water cans of 2,000 gallons, HIPPO loaded handling system capability water tank rack to a U.S. Marine Corps 50,000 gallon water tank asset. Planning guidance. Water planners all levels must include water supply procedure for the guidance of the exercise. Operational plan planners need to ensure the force adequate for the resource for the water purification, storage, distribution, water support. Planning is a continual process beginning with identification, foresight of the plan, and deployment of the time phase of the water requirement to determine the units are schedules of the deployed base and requirement of total water requirements in place and theater water distribution plan to divide with the combat commander support serve the component commander figure 6.1. For more information, Army Technical Bulletin Medical 577 Navy Medical P510 501010 Air Force Manual and 48130 IP Sanitation Control Surveillance Field Water Supply. Lessons learned from the Joint Force Command's deployed support operation, Iraqi Freedom Operation. During freedom and identified with the growing environmental health threats to the Joint Force Command, appropriate staff members should maintain visibility. Waste management byproducts include wastewater. Alright, figure 6.1, critical water support planning elements. Critical water support planning elements develop detailed water distribution plan, identification of water support requirements for the other service, multinational, host national labor force, water support structure, personnel equipment that is capable of providing required water production, purification, storage, distribution, water quality procedures, identification quality, local water, identification possibility impact with production due to water quality. Resulting from the employment of the water support plan with the sustaining of the Joint Force operation, Joint Force obligated with the deployed wastewater with the environmental responsible for the ban with the per host nation agreement with the federal regulations. For consumption requirements, the consumption requirements are based for the side of the fourth figure 6.2 with the list for the requirements for the consideration region. Water consumption depends on the region, tropical, Arctic with the temperature, aerated with the water source with the normally abundant with the temperature, or Arctic and the tropical regions. Although non-potable water is easily available, the treatments are required with a certain all use. The reason of the non-potable water shall include in the consumption estimate. If the treatment is necessary for the region with the water source, with the sparse with the water must be transported forward in arid regions. In early phase of establishing base camp with the forward operating base, the requirement of the both potable, non-potable water will be met with the potable water in order to prevent happening. Operating maintains two storage distribution system. Result of the total potable requirements agree with the regions. Operation mature the focus of the ship chain with the water conservation reuse of the planning, establishing storage distribution system, both potable and non-potable waters in all region plan for the 10% of the water to be lost through 4% evaporation, 6% waste and spillage. Spillage is what spilled on the ground. Waste is what reverse osmosis purification unit cannot purify and is released as waste or brine water. Whenever actual logistic intelligence over the theater and historical data experiences, command planning guidance provide different and more accurate data. Logistic planner that should modify appropriate consumption data as necessary. Our figure 6.2 water consumption requirements shows the drinking, heating, infrastructure, personal hygiene, food preparation, laundering, centralized hygiene force providers. Additional requirements are hospital, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear decontamination, including toxic industrial materials, vehicle manufacturing, monetary affairs, energy, construction, aircraft washing, tactical ice plant, refuge detaining, civil intern, prisoner of war camp, firefighting. Alright, requirement of determination extremely important with include with the total water requirement of the mission plan with the land concept with all the requirements including with the all water supply with purification and storage requirements supply with the requirements to compute with the total daily water requirements of the source force with the actual pure or personal strength with the multiplied with the proper consumption factor found in the water consumption planning guide with the total exceed with the gallons per day include the 10% of the evaporation waste and spillage. Purification requirement to determine the amount of the purification needed to support with the daily requirement. The daily requirement is divided with the daily production capability of the one purification unit. Under no conditions of the water purification equipment is operated 20 hours per day, with however the many other factors affect with the water production. 3. Storage requirement. The temperature of the tropical Arctic regions usually do not require large amounts of water to be stored. Raw water source but must be adequate and meet non-potable requirements. The potable requirements can be met by water purification units or organic storage tanks. In an arid region with a large quantity of the potable water must be stored. Storage requirements based on the resupply times and the daily requirements of the DOS requirements of the established for the commander. Arctic region storage of the water must be complicated by the freezing temperatures. Essential consumption. When enough potable water can be produced to meet all the requirements, all but essential consumption must be reduced. Essential water requirements that include the drinking, personal hygiene, field feeding, medical treating, heat and casualty treatment, the personal patient equipment, the combination of the chemical, biological, nuclear environments, arid regions, vehicle, the aircraft maintenance, consumption rates. Under these conditions, classified with a minimum enough of the force to survive 1 week. The requirements exceed 1 week are classified as sustained. In classification of the non-essential consumption, included the centralized hygiene, laundry, construction, optimized water treatment, the equipment of the unit commanders, and made it decide with the non-potable water for showering, laundry, personnel, padding, patient decontamination after performing a risk assessment in the cooperation of the preventive medicine personnel. Preventive medicine personnel should screen the presence of the health hazard for the skin absorbed chemicals, pathogenic microorganisms. Non-potable water may require disinfection and rudimentary treatment to be safe. Under these activities, preventive maintenance should be documents troops exposure to untreated water containing hazardous of the substances and organisms. Sorry. Alright, water vulnerability assessment. Vulnerability waterment of the CBRN or chemical, biological, radial, attack of the man-made natural hazard must be considered with the normal water vulnerability assessment of the potential existing water source distribution system connected to evaluate level of risk, ensure adequate security that include the specific appropriate countermeasure against tampering, adulteration, substantiation, contamination, other actions that could make the water unsuitable. Potential damage to end user water vulnerable assessment should be conducted, documented in accordance with the Army Technical Bulletin Med 577 and Navy Med P 55010 AF Man 4813 IP Sanitary Control Surveillance Field Water Supply. Alright, water support operation, water purification. Once adequate water support has been identified, located water purification, first step of the tactical water. Alright, I just got interrupted. I think we were during the purification step, water is drawn from the shore with a purified with a potable standard with potable water, certified safe with a human consumption, safe for human consumption, typical with the purified with a reverse osmosis purification standard, verified with the medical service, the personal responsibility, water span with the amphibious liquid transfer system at the U.S. Marine Corps Amphibious Operation Maritime Preposition Forces, MPFR, MPF operation, consistent with the 10,000 feet with the bonnet with the 4-inch hose deployed on the maritime preposition ship with the maritime preposition forces operation. They deliver the portable water to the high water mark. Possible the beach exit with the ensure the continuous support with the pass line with the demarcation with the water storage location production capacity can range from 75 gallons per hour to as high as 3,000 gallons per hour with the purification unit or system. See figure 6. 3 with the water protection capability, select the purification system water storage. The second step of the water support operation storm is normally done with a very close purification site with the general water of the storage. Keep the sufficient quantity of the land to prevent water storage in several purification units become non-operational at one time. All storage water to be in with the certified approved containers commanders will consult with the prevent medicine. And then shows the water purification equipment and lightweight purifier and salt and fresh wear gallons per hour. Are personal and necessary, but ensure that the containment with the beneath the sanitary need normally would be done with the 3,000, 20,000, 50,000 gallon collapsible fabric tank with water distribution. Begin with a storage site with the water distribution off the critical link of the water support operation is important to unit organize with efficient organic water distribution equipment in order to provide a supply point of distribution. Units must have enough water distribution capacity for the supplies minimum requirements of the water while making one over the trip of the water point per day. During early phase of the deployment of the emergency situation, packed water with the primary means of the resupply with the forward air with the other established for the organic water distribution asset with the 6 container water storage module with the tactical water distribution semi-trailer mounted fabric tank 3,000, 5,000 gallon size forward area water point the supply system M149A2 water trailer camel 800 gallon water trailer hippo gallon tank rack. Other consideration plan maximize the host nation sources as possible. The water plan should assume that no host nation potable water is available to rated regions. Minimum water sources of the poor water qualities may limit the operation depending on the host nation meet with the criteria set with the Army Technical Medical Bulletin 577, the Navy Medical Command P501010. Air Force 48-138 Sanitary Control Surveillance Field Water Supplies for water quality with the potential exists for the chemical, biological, radiological, water, or radiological attacks of the conventional attack of the joint water distribution system. They are pursuant for the unit with a residual deficiency conducting vulnerability assessment as soon as practical to arrival in the theater early stage of the deployment of the host nation process. Bottled water may be either has been certified potable preventive maintenance water personnel have within the Joint Force Command. Planners must also be aware of the following. Alright, food water supply with the United States as no part of the Protocol 1 of the Geneva Convention of the U.S. adhere with many with the principle of the instance of the Article 54 Protocol 1 Geneva Convention state with the prohibit the attack of the destroy, remove, and then render useless object with indispensable to the survival of the civilian population such as foodstuff, organic agricultural area with the production foodstuff with the crops, livestock with driving water, insulation supply with the irrigation works for a specific purpose of the denial of their substantiance value with the civilian population or diverse party. Whatever the motive they went in, or whatever the motive, whether in order to starve out of civilians to cause them to move away for any other motive, the IAW U.S. and the Department of Defense, no action against these objects should be taken. They may be expected to leave with the civilian population adequate food, water to cause starvation and force its movement. Labor force personnel with the host nation theater contract can provide water support must provide with the need of the labor forces unless otherwise provided. Host nation system support agreement in absence of the agreement the U.S. forces may have they assume some of the responsibility and care of labor forces. Alright, refugees under international law with the host country with the territorial sovereign and responsible for the refugee territory in the event of the host country with a sustained with influx of refugees. Host country may be requested assistance with the other armed forces. Geneva Convention relative to the protection of civilian person time of the war, 12th of August 1949. Occupying power responsible for the ensuring public order and safety. Therefore, U.S. forces who are acting as an occupying power may have the responsibility to provide refugee care. Detainees, the U.S. is obliged to provide humane treatment to all persons in custody, including prisoners of war, other type of detainee, to extend to provide sufficient water. And then we move on to the appendixes, which I'm just going to brief over. You know what, let's scan these. Alright, we have appendix petroleum oil lubrication supply. Attention left blank. Planning guidance appendix joint subsistence food services wastewater management operation plans. A petroleum scenario with the situation, mission, background, and geography. Petroleum marketing, prices, distribution, storage, pricing, petroleum companies, locations. Water scenario and appendix D. Appendix E references. Appendix F of administrative instructions. And then glossary in part 1, abbreviations, acronyms. Part 2, terms and definitions. Joint doctrine, hierarchy. And this has been a reading of your joint publication 403, Joint Bulk Petroleum Water Doctrine, 11th January 2016, validated 30th November 2017. It's got your U.S. Marine Corps, Air Force, Navy, Army, and Coast Guard.